28.5 inches wide. This is a Panasonic RX-CW55L boombox. I think it's from around 1987, which, I mean, I can't really find any info to confirm it, but it seems about right. I've got one from 1988 that looks just slightly newer than this one, so. And this thing is wide. Like, those speakers are like regular boombox speakers turned on their side. And this boombox is already wider than most without the speakers. I picked this up a while ago just because it looks awesome and it's just absurd. And it's got the Panasonic XBS extra bass system that they put on a lot of their models. But this one actually has a surprising amount of bass for how small these speakers look. So just to start with it, I'll turn the XBS off. Just put on the radio. Which phone?
Life name. Black from down. Cause my micro. She drives a candy pig.
So it's pretty tinny. And you put the bass on.
This way. My name is Kristen. Thank you so much.
What are you doing?
Short trip to Steel Town.
And of course, it's right around rush hour today, so it's all commercials. Luckily, I recorded a tape. So you can go to tape. We'll rewind this. So we'll try out tape 2 first, which is the play only side. But both of these have auto reverse. It's got a nice indicator up here that shows the tape direction for both. So if I go and hit play, it'll show me the tape direction for both. A little noisy in there. Change direction. Of course, nothing recorded on the other side. It kind of sounds like the tape is chewed up and mangled, but it's not. It's kind of a newer, cheap Type 1 tape, but when I play it on the tape deck that actually recorded it, it sounds great. And it sounds great on most other ones that I've tried it on, but on this one, it sounds kind of mangled. A lot of dropouts. Here's the cassette deck I actually recorded the tape on. It's a Pioneer CT-F9090. And this is from like the mid-70s. Very old style before they had the pop-out tape holder. So you just had this little door. But I mean, this thing works and sounds amazing. Unfortunately, the Dolby switch is broken off, so you gotta stick your finger in there. And I'm missing one of the knobs. But other than that, it cleaned up and sounds great. And if I play the tape on here, so I'm not sure how well that's coming off on the camera, but it sounds just like the original, which granted wasn't the best. It was just me recording off of Spotify from my phone. But I mean, still pretty decent for just a cheap Type 1 tape. But there's no dropouts or anything. Now back to this guy. If I try it on the Tape 1 deck, which is the one that has the record capability. So I mean, it sounds pretty good. You can, and it was kind of hard to hear with music on there, but if I just hit play with nothing, you can hear a motor whine, so I think some caps in this might have gone bad. You can hear a bit of that buzz. Going through all the controls on here, Tape 1 is just for playback only. This can't record on any other type of tape but Type 1. But it says PB there for playback. You can select normal and metal. And same thing for tape 2. Just for playback, you can go normal or metal. For editing, built-in mic, normal or high. So that's just what you want to record off of. I guess if you have the selector on tape and you hit record, you can use the built-in mic. It's got, looks like just a single, probably cheap condenser mic there. And then you have normal or high. Both go to this mixing mic input on the back, just beside the CD line in. And beside the editing switch, you have a counter, which is for tape 1 only. So tape 1's got recording, it's got the counter. It's got a slider volume, which is my least favorite type of volume. I don't know. I don't find I have as much control when I'm adjusting the volume versus a rotary. I always found these on the cheaper models. I'm always surprised how many Panasonics I see this on, but I don't know, maybe it was more of the style. And then over here we've got tape 2 normal metal. Now, Dolby in out, I believe this is just for playback on both. And then beside that is the selector. So tape is basically like it being off. It says here, CD line in, radio, tape is off. Go to radio, switch to the radio, and CD line in. And this shows how much newer this is than a lot of those old silver boom boxes that used to have a phono line in. This doesn't have a phono preamp, it's only CD or whatever else you want to plug into there. Let's go back to the radio. Oh, it's set to mono. So you have mono stereo for FM. And the selector on this has long wave, medium, short wave. So medium wave is what we call in North America AM, amplitude modulation, broadcast, whatever you want to call it. But this one calls it medium wave, which is just the same thing. So this for sure will have some stations.
That's according to police. 9:20 a.m. Portage La Prairie. This week, Justin Trudeau's guest today. Brought to you by Eden Valley Veterinary.
I never saw that before. Hell, I'm telling you, that just looks like it's got my name on it.
We don't really have a lot of AM here, but I mean, it sounds good. It's got a decent sound quality on there. Shortwave, I mean, I really doubt I'll pick anything up with all the lights and stuff I have on in here. We can try. It's got fine tuning for when you're using shortwave. And long wave, I don't think I've ever found anything on long wave where I live. I don't know if that's been obsolete, if it was ever anything on that band, or if it's more of a European thing. Huh. Sounds like some sort of long-range communication. If you go over here, there's a quartz clock, which I haven't touched in over a year, and it's kept time very well. So you can time set, so you have hour and minute adjust, you can set it to clock. Lock means that hour and minute won't do anything. And then you can set a timer, so you can have your boombox turn on in the morning and wake you up. Little alarm clock feature. And the graphic equalizer. When I bought this, I was playing with the graphic equalizer and I thought the balance control was part of it. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get anything out of the right channel until I realized This balance control goes up and down for left and right. The tape controls, pretty standard. You have, tape 1, which has the record feature. Play. You can cue. Pause. It's got a nice soft eject. And this one has a direction control as well. You can see the direction changed. And then tape 2 is the playback deck. And that's about it. And just to take a step back, just to look and see how massive this thing is. It's huge. There's also this blemish. I don't know if this is paint and there was some sort of a scratch or something on here and the previous owner painted it, but it's really smooth and the camera doesn't quite pick it up, but it looks very different from the rest of the texture on here. Just for fun, here's a tape that was recorded off the radio sometime, I think, in the late 80s.
Q94 FM, Winnipeg's light rock choice. Phil Collins drops 5 to number 8 with Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. This is Bo, and still to come this hour, we'll find out if something new has happened at the top of the countdown. But up next, a Top 30 Extra with author Bill Wyman of the Stones on Q94 FM.
Sounds like that tape is playing fast. I think whatever cassette deck recorded it was probably running a little slow. Just looked it up and that was from sometime in 1990. It was when that Phil Collins song was out. It was just me punching my phone, or pumping my phone.